Namaste, namaste, all of you, and our course facilitator Sandeep Dungana sir, and it's me presenter Jun Prasad Rokamagar. Today I am going to present about on the topic of understanding literature review, research gaps, and their importance. So moving ahead, the outlines: literature review, research gaps, importance of literature review, and references. And first slide is about what is literature review. A literature review is a critical and comprehensive summary of previous research that is done by others in specific topics and field, and it helps to find the methods and ways for establishing new research by identifying gaps, analyzing findings, and establishing the method for future research. And it helps to summarize an evaluation of existing research, to find research gap, and how to fits into the broader academic conversation. A literature review is more than a summary of sources, and it has an organization pattern that combines both summary and synthesis. And it might give a new interpretation of old uh, material or combine new with old interpretations. The main motivation of the literature review is finding the best way to flow transformation of previous research. It helps to progress and aims to help improve the awareness of the best experiences, and it is intended to provide a clear idea for those wishing to generate a roadmap for the present research issues. And a comprehensive literature review helps to generate a remarkable support for the research article. Literature review is used to identify the research gaps, what is done in previous research, and finding theoretical foundation to get supports or challenges existing arguments and guides for future research directions. And next slide is about importance of literature review. A literature review is critical examination and assessment of the previous research on certain topic, and it is an important component of academic research since it summarizes the present state of knowledge in certain subject, identifies gaps in the literature, and helps to direct future research. And it helps for contextualizing the research problems. Literature review provides a background information and context for the research problems. They help researchers understand the current state of knowledge in a particular field, allowing them to identify gaps and controversies that need further exploration. And it helps to find knowledge gaps in the research done previously. Reviewing of existing literature, researchers can identify gaps in knowledge and areas where further research is needed. This helps to find the areas that not been thoroughly explored, which the study can address. It helps to researchers understand the current state of knowledge, and uh, ignores duplication of efforts, and research can avoid by reviewing existing literature. This ensures that they do not repeat studies that have already been conducted, and researchers can focus on extending upon existing knowledge. And it helps to make strong hypotheses or research questions with evidence from prior studies and compare findings from different sources. And it helps to find successful research methods in similar studies, helps to choose the most appropriate methodologies for addressing the present studies. And next slide is about the types of literature review. There are four types of literature review: thematic review, theoretical review, policy review, and empirical review. First, then next slide is about thematic review. It focuses on organized literature based on themes or requiring topics rather than chronology or methodology. Literature reviews provides a comprehensive understanding of existing knowledge in a particular field, and it offers insights into gaps and trends and ultimately lay the foundation for innovative research. Thematic review provides a clear instruction for context to the discussion, which helps to create precise background for the research. And next slide is about theoretical review, literature review. A theoretical framework is a foundational review of existing theories. What serves as a roadmap for developing the arguments that is used in onwards in research. And before starting research, it's very crucial to familiarize yourself with the theories and models that other researchers have already developed. A theoretical review focuses on examining and synthesizing various theories related to specific research topics and comparing different theoretical frameworks, models, and concepts to clarify and determine their relevance, applicability, and contribution to the topic under discussion. Uh, the purpose of theoretical review is to provide a solid foundation for further research and understanding of the subject matter. And next is about the policy literature review. A policy review in research paper involves examining a specific policy, often with a critical analysis and potentially recommendations for improvement. It is more than just describing a policy, it sources for the policy effectiveness, impacts, and potential areas for improvement, and it may compare different policy approaches, evaluate the effectiveness and implication of specific policies. Policy review is used to provide a comprehensive understanding of the policy landscape, identify gaps in existing policies, and inform future policy development. Next is about the empirical literature review. An empirical review in research involves examining previous study to synthesize and summarize findings on a topic, often using evidence gathered through observation, experimentation, or data collection. Systematically reviews research articles, reports, and other sources that present findings based on data collection and analysis. Empirical review evaluates the methodologies, findings, and limitation of these studies. Its purpose is to summarize the evidence based on research questions, identify consistent findings the strengths of evidence, and search the areas where further empirical investigation is needed. And next slide is about what is research gap. A research gap is essentially an unanswered questions or problem in a field, which reflects a lack of existing research in that space. Or alternatively, we can say a research gap can also exist when there is already a pair of existing research, but where the findings of the studies pull in different directions, making it difficult to draw conclusions. We can take for an example, the research aims to identify the cause of particular disease. Upon reviewing the literature, you may find there's body research that points towards drinking packaged juice as a key factor, but at the same time, a large body of research that finds no link between smoking and disease. In that case, you may have something of research gap that wants further investigations. And next is about types of research gaps. First is about knowledge gaps. These types of research gaps emerge when there's new concept or phenomenon that hasn't been studied much or at all. Let's take an example. When a systematic investment plan (SIP) is launched in Nepal, there is an opportunity to explore its impacts on consumer and how it could be leveraged for making its impact on society and so on. This applies in technology and new modes of trade, etc. Next is about disagreement gap. As the name suggests, the disagreement gap emerges when there are contrasting or contradictory findings in existing research regarding specific research questions. The hypothetical example we can take. We look at order regarding the cause of disease reflects disagreement gap. For this type of research gap, there needs to be a relatively balanced set of opposing findings. Or let's we can see uh, a situation where 95% of studies find one result and 5% find the opposite result wouldn't quite constitute a disagreement in the literature. And next is about contextual gaps. The third type of research gap is the contextual gap, when certain population, location, or contexts are underrepresented in existing research. In other words, a contextual gap exists when there's already a decent body of existing research on a particular topic, but an absence of research in a specific context. For example, studies on e-learning effectiveness are mostly conducted in Western countries, and a study could examine how e-learning impacts studies in Nepal within the limited internet access. The fourth one is about a methodological gap. A research gap emerges because of the research methodology or design of existing studies. With this approach, you would argue that the methodology of existing studies is lacking in some way, or that they are missing a certain perspectives, or a particular topic has been studied and leading to bias or incomplete understanding. For example, uh, you might have argued that the bulk of the existing research has taken a quantitative approach, and therefore there is a lack of rich insights and texture that a qualitative study could provide. And similarly, most of studies on employee productivity rely on self-reported surveys, and which may bias. Research could use mixed methods for more objective data. Okay, these are the some examples of research gaps. And next slide is about why conduct literature review. A literature review is critical examination and assessment for previous research on certain topic, and it is an important component of academic research since it summarizes the present state of knowledge in a certain subject and identify gaps in the literature and helps direct future research. A literature review is goals is to identify major themes and topics in the literature as well as gaps in the literature and possibilities for future research. Conducting a literature review is essential, very essential. And at next slide is about the summary. Literature review is foundational to academic research, and different types addresses different aspects of research. Identifying research gaps is critical for making original contributions, and a well-structured literature review enhances the quality and relevance of research studies. And literature reviews and gaps analyze the impact of the research. And these are my references. Well, thank you. By this, I end my presentation. Thank you, all of you.